All right, what is going on YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the 3DS XL, new 3DS XL, and the 2DS XL. Now, let's do a stack by stack comparison, just to show all of these. So, new 2DS XL, as you can see, the game cartridge slot is no longer at the top. On the new 3DS XL, these names are going to confuse me throughout the video. Again, no cartridge slot at the top. We only see it on the old 3DS XL here, where the game cartridge is at the top, which I do prefer, actually. I prefer it up there. And then, obviously, on these newer models, the 2DS XL and the new 3DS XL, they have the additional ZL buttons and ZR buttons. So that's new. I don't really find myself using those in games, to be honest. So I felt like it was kind of a useless thing to have in there. What else? So now let's take a look at the side profiles. So on the left side, the volume slider on the new 2DS XL is on there. I like it's kind of got this grippy texture on there. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you can see it there. It has a grippy texture on the volume button, so I do enjoy that. It's a nice little feature detail. On the old 3DS XL, just standard slider, it's kind of loose. Over time, it'll get a little loosey. And then from the front view, they all have the standard 3.5 millimeter head jack ports. Pen slot is here on the new 3DS XL. The pen slot is here on the 2DS XL. It goes right there. Power button also on these two is at the front, and let's see the differences here. Also on the front, this one has the latch key kind of hook thingy for a wrist bracelet if you wanted to put that to secure your unit. On the right side, we have the 3DS sliders on the top screen, which are still relevant here. And then on the 3DS XL, it actually has a wireless switch, so when you want to flick on and off your Wi-Fi settings, you know, it's just a switch there. I do appreciate that. I appreciate the hardware buttons. And then on the back, on the 2DS XL, it's a matte kind of plastic finish. Obviously, it's much lighter than the other two devices. Two cameras on the back there, all the Nintendo licensing info ingrained in there in a reflective kind of texture. Font, new 3DS XL, super greasy plastic, very reflective. Yeah, all the Nintendo information is there, barcode, game cart slot. What I don't like about this is the SD card is only accessible by screwing off the back plate. So if you do want to mod this thing or upgrade the storage, you will need to buy the Nintendo screwdriver to open this up. But on the plus side, you can also replace the battery. On the back of this is my favorite backing out of all of them. This is the classic, like, Nintendo DS Lite kind of back design. You know, got a nice shiny silver, not super greasy like the 3DS XL. The new version, it's the right type of plastic in my opinion. Classic shoulder buttons, and you know, licensing info is on there. SD card slot is accessible here. This is a standard SD card slot, whereas the 2DS XL will be a micro SD slot, and also in the new 3DS XL, it'll be a micro SD slot. So just something to keep in mind if you want to upgrade these eventually. Okay, and then opening these things up, these are all set to max brightness, so we can kind of compare them crudely through the screen of YouTube. I'm going to be doing a Bootup test as well, so they're all loaded up with Mario Kart 7. And let's do a speed run test here. Let's boot these up. Am I going to get the update on this? Yeah, it's going to ask me to update. Okay, so I'm going to try to hit these at the same time. A, and A. 1, 2, 3. Cool. So it looks like the new 2DS XL was in first place. Then we had the older standard 3DS boot up next, right after that. And then finally the new 3DS XL. Now something to note is that the 3DS XL is not homebrewed. while the other 2 units are, so that might have something to do with the speed test. And also the new 3DS XL is probably the one I've owned the longest, so it does have more like, you know, data in there, more like video games on it. So something also to keep in mind. Now I'm just going to be going over some of the design specs here. So we'll be getting a close-up and just giving you my opinion on it. Now from a design perspective, let's take a look at the oldest unit here, being the 3DS XL. Now, this one is by far my favorite design. Again, the plastic shell is just my favorite type of color. I think the cartridge slot being on the back here is just nostalgic, and it's one of my favorite placements for it. So here, I'll compare. Let's do 2 at a time first. Okay, so this is the 2DS XL, and this is the new 3DS XL on the right. And as you can see, with just a little, sorry, this is me lifting it, right? This is the tolerance of jiggle that it gives. And this is the new 3DS XL. And you can see this is almost like a MacBook. The hinges are a lot more tighter, and you're just not getting that toyish jiggle, right? This is not even the same at all. And if we look at it on the old 3DS XL, it's probably even more. Like this is a little flimsy as well, honestly, but it's not as bad as this. Like in hand, it feels completely different. This is very, very flimsy. So I don't know what was going on with the design decision there. Maybe it was to cut corners on costs. But, you know, just from a QC perspective, from quality control perspective, the new 3DS XL by far has the best kind of hinge design, and it feels much more sturdy. All right, and just a few other key things I'll go over here is the button placement. So obviously on the 3DS XL, the button placement is here on the center for the home, select, and start. This is really the most awkward placement, I think. It's the most unnatural, is, you know, when you're in the middle of a game and you kind of want to pause it, you do have to kind of reach all the way over here in the center, and it's very, you know, it's not a normal, organic, natural feeling to do. So this is, you know, just a minor thing, but again, this is just something to keep in mind with the differences. Also here on the buttons, as you can see, these are more concave, I think is the word. So they pop out more. These buttons are a little more rounder, versus on the 2DS XL, they're a lot more flat. So it feels better pressing them on the 2DS XL because they're flat, but that's personal preference. D-pad, kind of the same thing here. It's a little more indented. As you can see there, it's a little sunken in the middle on the new 2DS XL. And then here, kind of the same thing, but there's a little more different tactile feeling between the two. Super minor. I don't even know if I'm really noticing it, but just something to keep in mind there. And then obviously on the new 3DS XL, oops, it's a hair. The buttons are, again, a little different. These are concave, they pop out. They're multicolored. We have this little nub stick thing, which again, I don't really find myself using it when I'm playing games. Maybe for like Ocarina of Time, for like moving the camera angle, but really it's not really useful. And then what I will say about this, because this has like the greasy, shiny plastic finish, when you use this analog stick, when you're playing games, your finger will kind of slide off eventually over time. Like I find myself when I'm playing Mario Kart, for example, a game where you have to be holding the joystick button for everything, your finger, your thumb, will kind of gradually lose grip, so it'll kind of naturally slide. And it's not because of the joystick, but it's because of this greasy back. So when you're holding it, right, your fingers will just naturally if you're playing for like 30 minutes, 20 minutes at a time, they will naturally kind of start to sweat or just exude natural hand oils, and it'll make it feel like your fingers losing grip. And, over time, it does kind of add up and makes it a little greasy, a little oily. So it doesn't feel as nice as when I'm playing on like the new 2DS XL, because I know here, you know, you're gonna get the same button. There's nothing really changed with the analog stick, but on the back, it's a matte finish, right? So my skin is not exuding as much oil, and it's not as noticeable. So when I'm playing games, I feel like I have much more of a grip. And then here, it's kind of a blend of both, because this plastic is kind of, it is greasy. It will slip over time, but it's not as bad as this glossy plastic, right? So in terms of gripability, I will say the new 3DS XL is the worst, because your finger will kind of over time feel like it's slipping. And then the regular 3DS XL will be second worst, but the best grip of all will be on the new 2DS XL. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, these are all very, very fun systems. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them, especially nowadays with all the homebrew abilities that they have. These are really just endless hours of fun that you can have with these machines. I personally love these for the nostalgic factor. I also have a Miu Mini, so I got this one first. I don't think the battery's on, but this is also something, you know, that I was considering before I got the new 2DS, you know, 3DS units. And just for size comparison, this is what it's like. It's almost half in size. So yeah, I definitely will prefer a 3DS over the Miu Mini any day though. This thing is great. It's powerful, very pocketable, but you know, it is Chinese made. It was like, you know, 80 bucks. It's definitely noticeable in the software and in the battery especially. But this is a 3DS review video. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this helped you decide. I will say, if it were up to me and I was deciding between all three of these units, personally, I don't really care about 3D, so that would knock this one like out of the park as an option for me. And I would really be looking at either the 2DS XL or the 3DS XL. And like I said, if you can get these like for a good deal, for a good price, then get the 2DS XL, because it does have an upgraded processor. The internals are a little better than the older 3DS XL, but it's not a, you know, it's not a decision to live or die by. But yeah, out of all three of them, I would go with the 2DS XL, even though that screen thing is very annoying. But Nintendo, take notes, do better next time. Thanks for watching.